Well, this should be a huge warning sign for the anti-AI author brigade that AI, when it creates stories, is preferable to even best-selling authors. Now, I always get the litany of arguments of this. Oh, it's just short fiction. They can't do long fiction, which is pretty funny because I've actually completed 3 full novels with AI so far. No, I won't tell you what they are. And then it's always like, oh, well, the best writers will always do better than AI, which is just middling slop. And it's like, okay, well, these are some of the best fantasy writers out there. So, oops, that's kind of going by the wayside. And this is going to upset a lot of people. But here's the thing. Most people can't even tell whether something's written by AI or not. They can enjoy a good story or not. And I actually took the test here that Mark Lawrence, great fantasy writer, actually put up. And I'm a person who's probably written over 1 million words of AI content, and I've written 20-plus human-written novels myself. So I'm in a position where I'm actually one of the few who's well aware of this stuff enough to actually be able to tell what's AI and what's not. And I got 7 out of 8 right on this, and I mistook one AI written deal for a human written deal. I thought it was human because I didn't see any of the tells in it. Very interesting on that level. So if somebody in my position can't tell whether an AI's an AI written one or not, the average person definitely cannot. But what's very, very interesting at this point is most people actually preferred the AI written stories over the storied fantasy authors. We're going to get into this news in just a moment. This is a wild deal Mark Lawrence put up. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things in culture. This is the real fantasy news, my friends. And I have a great book here for Steam and Country. I'm going to get a bunch of comments now from the angry anti-AI people. Oh, you just do AI slop. That's what this is. Yeah, if you look at this, it was published in 2017. There wasn't AI at that point. But this is the start of my series. That's a fun fantasy series, and I hope you'll enjoy it, and hopefully you'll enjoy it more than some of the AI stories that you're seeing out there at this point. I am a professional writer, and I'm enjoying, of course, making some great stuff and working very, very hard creatively in lots of different genres. So check this out, guys. It's in the description below, and thanks for the support. It's been selling fantastic the past couple of weeks, and I really appreciate everybody continuing to read this series, selling over 30,000 strong. Amazing stuff. This is your real fantasy right here. It's in the description below, and it's available on ebook, print, and audio for your convenience. Thanks for supporting our channel. All right. So Mark Lawrence, he's a very successful fantasy writer. His Prince of Thorns has sold more than 1 million copies. He's one of many professional authors who, while disdaining the use of textual AI, is concerned about its eventual impact on the profession. He conducted an interesting experiment, which he and 3 other very well-established professional authors wrote short stories on the same subject. And ChatGPT 5 was prompted for 4 short stories on the same subject as well. You can read all 8 stories on his blog, and he posted them like this. If you've not seen this yet, is AI writing any good? And here's all the fiction that he did. And he had different results of not only is it AI, but also how good was it? So you can vote it as a 1-star to a 5-star to see how it is on this juncture. So it's pretty interesting on this. About 1,000 people went in on this at this point. And of course, these are avid readers because these are readers of Mark Lawrence who are on this blog, right? And the results are very, very interesting. On average, readers were able to identify correctly about 3 of the 8 stories. So with 4 real humans and 4 AI, people got 3 out of 8 right on average. And that's less than 50%. So that means it's a coin toss. Like for people, if they were just guessing because they have no idea, they would not be able to predict AI and whether it's an AI story or not. And this is what bothers a lot of people. This is why people get so visceral about this online, because in people's minds already, they've already come to the conclusion of AI is just slop, right? And so they've got that in their head. So if AI is slop, you should be able to recognize it, right? And if they can't recognize that, that makes them extremely emotional and angry about that because, in essence, you just told them they're stupid. At least that's how they perceive it. Even though they're not consciously thinking this is why most people are getting so angry about it at this point. Most authors are getting angry about it at this point because actually the AI writing is not only better than them, as there's a zillion aspiring authors out there. I get manuscripts sent to me literally every single day. And I hate to say it, but 9 out of 10 of them are completely unreadable. AI produces better content than that easily. But not only that, but it's producing better content than like Mark Lawrence and Robin Hobb at this point. I mean, these are big fantasy authors right now that people prefer those stories to. That's a big deal right there. So AI is not producing slop on that level, and it's very interesting. Of course, people's visceral reactions on this, but like I said, they're mostly emotional. They're not logical at this point. So they rated the story the highest out of them. Out of all 8, an AI story was it, and 3 out of the 4 highest rated stories were all AI generated, which means 3 of the stories that were not AI generated by professional authors. These are not slop authors. They're not aspiring authors. We're talking big name fantasy authors here. Those ones were rated lower. So very interesting on this front. And that is as well that people can't tell whether it's AI or not. And we're already here. We're already a couple years into this. It's only going to get better at this point. So we've heard many other authors talking about this low quality slop and the like, and I've already talked about that. Don't pay any attention to that. It's a total lie when they do this. The average reader cannot tell the difference between AI and professional authors and tends to prefer the AI generated product. When human stories weren't written by nobodies either, these are, again, Robin Hobb's a huge, huge author, excellent fantasy author. If you've not read any of Robin Hobb's stuff, if you like fantasy at all, you're going to enjoy this. So it's pretty interesting as this is going along right here. Now, wow, this is a lot to unpack here that people cannot actually tell the difference between this. Now, of course, like I said, I get a lot of angry comments whenever I talk about this, and of course, there's a author I notice who does a lot of AI content online, and he's got an AI authorship channel. He gets tons of just hate comments all the time. People are viscerally angry about this, and it comes down to that emotion. So it's a weird ego proposition right now, like where it's like, as an author, it's like, do people prefer AI better? Well, you feel like that's a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I also got some other interesting comments when I was talking about this that, well, the best authors are always going to be better than AI, which is going to be mid, right? And so you're talking about like the truly like amazing, the Hemingways out there are going to be better than somebody who's mid. But that's also a specious comparison when you talk about that kind of thing. Because if you have a Hemingway versus a random fantasy author out there who's doing genre tropes, well, of course Hemingway's better, right? But if you had and of course, if that author was using AI, of course, it would be the same, right? But if Hemingway used AI versus a Hemingway who didn't use AI, what happens then? Well, if readers already prefer the AI stuff at that point, you can have a truly exceptionally creative person doing truly exceptionally creative things with AI. And I'd like to think that I've already gone and explored a lot of this stuff. I'm not releasing a lot of this stuff. What's interesting is they always go, oh, it's just genre slop that's like just for clicks and money and blah, 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 blah. Those are people who are mad about people making money on fiction, which, why is that a bad thing? But on the other hand, like some of it I'm not even putting out or not even selling because I'm doing a lot of esoteric things that I believe are just for my own creative interest with AI that are not worth my time because I'm not going to be making as much money on it as I would with my series that is selling and things like that. So I shouldn't be spending the time writing a short fiction piece that's going to take me 10, 20 hours on an esoteric thing that's going to be super arty and things like that, when I should be working on my actual novel that actually is going to make me money, which is maybe less artistic and a little more market-driven on that level. And so what I did is I actually made it with AI, edited it, and of course, instead of spending 10, 20 hours on it, I spent 1-2 hours on it. And that way it allows me to flex those creative bones and flex that creative muscles and do that creative thing that I'm very interested in doing without having to actually bear the pressure of the market on things. So interestingly enough, it's actually spurring creativity more, at least in me. Now, I don't think this is the case with everybody, and I don't think everybody's going to be able to use AI to some sort of great advantage here. There is an amount of work that gets done with this, an amount of prompting that you have to do, an amount of back-end work that you also have to do, and an amount of editing work afterwards that you have to do. Otherwise, it all breaks down. And so anybody just going in there going, write me a fantasy novel, ChatGPT, is just going to just come up with slop, as people said. People who are doing it the right way and actually have the creativity are going to be able to use this to expand their creativity 10, 20, or maybe even 100 times as all this goes along and gets better and better and better. We'll see how it goes. Right now, AI is already doing better than the best fantasy authors in blind tests. That's a very scary thing if you are anti-AI, but you could either get on with the tools of the time or be left behind is really how I see it. What do you think about this? Please leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Thank you guys for listening and reading. I have my For Steam and Country. I think you'll enjoy this. It's good fantasy. It's lots of fun. Swashbuckling airship adventure. It's in the description below, and it starts a 6-book series, none of which is AI written, as much as everybody's going to be angry about it. It is all human written for now. All right. Leave a comment. Thanks for being here, guys. Check this out. We'll be back soon.